Welcome to This Explainer. Okay, if you have ever stared down the barrel of the Spanish immigration system and felt like you were looking at a massive, unsolvable maze of paperwork, you are absolutely not alone. The sheer volume of information out there can be incredibly overwhelming. But today, we're going to change that. Our goal here is simple. We aren't giving you a dense, boring legal checklist. We're handing you a map. We are going to navigate the overarching structure of the whole system so you can find your exact starting line.
Here is our roadmap for today. We'll start with visa, NIE or tie, then cover work, wealth, and studies. Move on to family and community ties, touch on arraigo, protection, and citizenship, and finally, wrap up with navigating your next steps. All right, part 1. Visa, NIE, or TIE. Let's clear the fog.
So before we even look at the map, we absolutely have to clear up 3 terms that trip everyone up. First, the visa, or visado. Think of this as your golden ticket to get it in. It is the prior permission you have to apply for at the Spanish consulate located in your home country, before you even pack your bags and travel. For the vast majority of the routes we're covering today, getting this visa is literally step 1. It happens entirely outside of Spain.
Next up is the famous NIE. And the absolute key here, your NIE is just your foreigner identification number. Let me say that again. It is just a number, not a card. I know so many folks show up in Spain trying to pick up their NIE card, but the NIE itself is purely a sequence of letters and numbers assigned to you for things like ID and taxes.
Which brings us to the TIE. This is the actual physical plastic card that you apply for once you're already in Spain after your residency authorization is approved. And guess what? Your TIE will have your NIE printed right on it. So when you hear people casually talking about getting their residency card, the TIE is officially what they're talking about.
Looking at them side by side really clears it up, doesn't it? Visa, prior permission before traveling. NIE, just your ID number. TIE, the physical card you get once you are actually on Spanish soil. Honestly, locking this framework in right now is going to save you countless headaches and frantic late-night Google searches later on. All right, keep this in your back pocket as we dive into specific situations.
Moving right along to Section 2, Work, Wealth, and Studies. Time to map your financial or educational path.
Now, Spain doesn't just have one single one-size-fits-all residence permit. It's like a giant puzzle where you match authorizations to your specific life situation. So let's say you've got your own steady income, maybe a pension, some rental properties, or really healthy savings account, and you want to enjoy life in Spain without working locally. Basically, you are completely self-sufficient financially.
If that hits the nail on the head for you, your starting line is the non-lucrative residence route. That is the exact official term you're going to want to look for when you begin the application process at your local Spanish consulate.
But hey, what if you want to be a bit more active? Our next situation is for those of you who want to work, whether that's remotely for a Spanish employer or starting your own thing, or maybe you're moving to Spain to hit the books and study.
For these active scenarios, the pathways get highly specific. Let's find your perfect match. Got a job offer or contract? You need the residence and work authorization. Starting a business or working for yourself? That's residence and self-employment. What about you digital nomads doing remote work for a foreign company? Your official route is the International Telework Authorization. And lastly, if you're going to study, you'll apply for a student stay. You really got to identify your exact bucket here because the requirements for a student stay and an International Telework Authorization are completely different beasts.
Section 3. Family and community ties. Bringing loved ones together.
Immigration isn't strictly about work and bank accounts, right? Often, it's about reuniting with family. Now, while the general Spanish immigration regime is the same regardless of your nationality, having family ties can unlock some very specific and honestly sometimes way better pathways. If you're joining family members who already hold legal status in Spain, your exact route hinges entirely on their citizenship.
Here is how it breaks down. If your family member is a legally resident non-EU citizen, you're going to pursue family reunification. If they are a Spanish citizen, you use the family of a Spanish citizen route. But check this out. If your family member is a citizen of the EU, the European Economic Area, or Switzerland, you fall under the EU Citizens Family Card. We call this the EU regime, and it's a massive game changer, generally much more favorable and streamlined than the regular rules. Okay, Section 4, Arraigo, Protection, and Citizenship. Dealing with exceptions and those long-term goals. Up to this point, we've focused on standard entry routes. But let's be real, life gets complicated, and the law actually has provisions for exceptional circumstances.
This covers situations where you might currently be in Spain without papers, but you've established roots, or perhaps you're fleeing danger and need protection. Or, on the flip side, maybe you've done everything perfectly by the book and have been a continuous legal resident for 5 years.
Let's match these up. If you've been in Spain a while without papers but have ties there, you'll look into arraigo, and there are a few different flavors of this, depending on whether your ties are work or family related. Need international protection? You'll follow the process for how to apply for asylum. For Ukrainians displaced by the war, there is a very specific temporary protection route. And for those of you who have hit that amazing 5-year mark of continuous legal residence, huge congratulations, your route is now long-term residence.
All right, let's talk about the big one, the ultimate goal for a lot of folks, citizenship. Officially, it's called Spanish nationality by residence. For most people under the general regime, the magic number is 10 years of legal residence. But there is a fascinating, massive shortcut for certain nationalities.
That magic number? It drops to just 2. Yeah, literally just 2 years of legal residence are required for citizenship instead of 10 if you are from the Philippines, Ibero-American countries, Andorra, Equatorial Guinea, Portugal, or if you're of Sephardic descent. It is an incredible fast track, but just remember, this advantage is strictly for getting citizenship, not for getting your initial residency.
Finally, Section 5, navigating your next steps. What to do after finding your route.
Okay, we have covered a lot of ground in this explainer. So what happens after you've successfully matched your situation to one of these routes? Well, the journey doesn't always magically end with that first application. If you get denied or just hear crickets, your next step is looking into the official process for appealing a denial. If you already have a permit but the clock is ticking, you need the guidelines for renewing authorizations. And finally, my favorite perk, if you want to travel around Europe with your Spanish residency, you'll want to review the residence documents recognized under Schengen to know exactly where you can go and for how long.
And there you have it, the full map. Just one final, super important reminder before you go. This is informational navigation guidance, not legal advice. Check the card for your specific route and the official source. Knowing the official name of your exact path is literally half the battle. So, you've got the map, you know your starting line. The only question left is, when are you going to take that first step? Thanks for hanging out with me on this explainer, and happy navigating.
That was a quick overview. On our website you'll find step-by-step guides to many procedures, the Padrón, the health card, the NIE, the tie, legalization, and more. The link is in the description. And if you get stuck, message our Telegram bot. We'll walk you through for free, step by step.